Today with us is our amazing Natalie. Natalie is confidence coach, and we decided that the topic of today's call is going to be confidence and resilience. And I am so excited to learn from her because we all need a little bit more confidence and a little bit more resilience. So without further ado, Natalie, take it away.
Thank you for that, Monica, and good evening. And I'm really thrilled to be here. But also, what I'm really thrilled about is that you are taking the time to spend on you and just do something for yourself. Another reason why I'm really excited to be here is to support Monica. She asked me if I would give a talk, and I'm like, yeah, I will. I'll give a talk. And then she challenged me to do a topic that I haven't actually done a talk for before. I know about it, but I've never really done a workshop or anything before, because she didn't want to pick one of the ones that I've already done and have ready. So it's been really wonderful. And I'm saying really too many times. But it's been good that it's challenged me, because I've had to take the stuff out my head and put it in a way, in a workbook, but as well as in a way that hopefully will help you. So again, it's a collaboration with Monica, and it's sharing my knowledge. And these are things that I enjoy doing. Feel free to tell me I'm saying really too much. I don't know where this is coming from. So I have organized virtual summits. I'm a public speaker, and I do a lot of talking and workshops. Well, I used to do a lot. Then we had the pandemic, and I've shifted everything online, and I've mostly been concentrating on virtual summits, which I've really enjoyed as a speaker, but also as an organizer. And one of my proudest moments is when I got a plaque that said Distinguished Toastmaster on it. Now, if nobody's heard what a Toastmaster is, it's being part of a public speaking organization called Toastmasters International. And I joined that, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I joined that. But in 2019, just at the end of 2019, I received the plaque of getting to Distinguished Toastmaster. And that's been one of my proudest achievements that I've ever had. And I would show you, but I've stuck it on the wall so I can see it. And it just reminds me of what I can achieve. I live in a small village in Red Lodge with my husband and 3 dogs. And usually at lunchtime, you can find me out on tracks in the woods with a pack of between 7 and 11 dogs, because I help my husband with his business at lunchtime, and he's a dog walker. So if I'm not in front of my desk, I'm out there with dogs all around me and just getting dirty and being barked at and everything else, which is lovely. I love it. But tonight we're going to dig into resilience and the benefits of building resilience, and how you can store resilience and for when you need it. I will be focusing on the 4 components to resilience, to helping you consciously to grow it. Because resilience is something that we need to focus on. It's not something that just happens. It's one of these things you've got to work on, and you can work on it when times are good for when you need it. There is a workbook with this workshop, which the link is in the chat, but it's also gone out in the email that Monica sent out earlier. And if for some reason you don't have the workbook or anything, contact me or Monica, and we will give you the link so you've got access to the workbook. So as Monica mentioned, my name is Natalie, and I am the founder of Natalie King Coaching. And I am the confidence coach for introverted business owners. But what this means is I help solopreneurs, small business owners to really connect with their confidence, to connect with their business, and to be confident in themselves as well as their business. And I do this in a variety of ways, looking at identity, values, and resilience as well, but just helping you to really focus on what it is you want from your business and how you can do it in a way that doesn't drain your energy and doesn't make you feel tired all the time. So that's one of the ways that I help my clients. But I was not always confident. Actually, I didn't even know what confidence meant. I didn't understand what confidence was. Confidence was just something that other people had, and sometimes I even thought other people were born with. And I really did not understand what confidence was. I've been badly bullied at school and through all my working life until I hit a point that, as we say here in the UK, the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back. I was going down the A14 doing 70 miles an hour to get to work, and I had a panic attack. And this was going into Cambridge. I was working in Cambridge at that time, and Cambridge is full of students, full of cyclists, and it's a busy city. I do not know how I got from the motorway into the middle of Cambridge where I was working without hurting anybody or myself. I didn't hit anybody. I didn't have an accident. And I cannot remember how I got to work. I got to work, I phoned my husband, and I said, you know what? I've just had the worst experience of my life. I don't know what to do. And he said, quit your job. Now, this isn't something that was just decided at the spur of the moment. I hated my job. So it wasn't something that hadn't been thought of or discussed. He just said, that's it, quit your job. I went in, spoke to my manager, and I said, I quit. You'll get it in writing tomorrow. But what to do? What do I do? I just quit my job. I was fed up, and I had decided I'm not going to get another job. I'm not going to be employed anymore. I need to start a business. So my first business was with a multi-level company. I was using the products, and this was like almost a business in a box. It's like, I can do this. Okay. There was one little problem. I had to talk to people. So you got to remember, I had no confidence, and all of a sudden I had to talk to people. I had to invite people into my home and give parties and presentations and talk to people. This scared the hell out of me. And when I realized that, this was like a moment of, I'm going to quit and get a job. But I didn't. I got involved with personal development, and I got involved with Toastmasters International, which helped me to speak. And through that, through personal development, through Toastmasters International, through all sorts, just pushing myself, pushing my boundaries, I started to build my confidence. I started to develop as a person, and I started to realize, hang on a minute, I'm worth it. There's so much more to offer. There's so much more to life that I can enjoy. Where can this take me? So through that, I then qualified as a life coach. I qualified as a confidence coach. I'm also a qualified goal setting coach and happiness coach because I love studying. So why not just study everything? You know what I'm talking about, Monica. And I also have done a neuroscience course on how the brain works, because I've realized that we need to understand the brain in order to really know what's going on and how we can shift it and how we can actually make the brain work for us. So that's just a little bit about me and my background and where I come from. So even though I have worked with some amazing people, I've done some amazing things, and I've really enjoyed what I've been doing, but the main thing is we are here today to talk about resilience. And as the title, I think, on the workbook says, you are worth it. And you are worth it to build resilience and to move forward throughout 2022. Yes, 2022. Wow. And just start to grow and develop and really start to get your resilience going and your strength going. So what is resilience? Now, I do have some notes with me because this is the first time I'm actually presenting this workshop. So you'll see that I'm really looking at the notes, but most of it I do know, but I don't want to miss out on anything. And everything that I have here is within the workbook. It coincides with the workbook. This is another reason why I want to make sure that I cover everything. But also, if you get any questions or have a comment or want clarity or anything, please just raise your hand. We're a nice small group. I can see you. and I will answer you as we go along instead of waiting until the end. So feel free to just, hello, I want to speak. So that's fine. So what is resilience? So it is a mental reservoir of strength that people are able to call on in times of need to carry them through without falling apart. Psychologists define resilience as a process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or when there's a lot of stress on us. So that stress can be family, can be work, can be relationships, can be anything that is causing you stress at that time. And then you need to have the resilience to get through that process, to get through it. Resilience is a process of bouncing back. This is sort of a fashionable phrase at the moment, using bouncing back. But what is it that will make you resilient? I mean, we've all been through 2020. I don't think anybody has not experienced something like 2020. It's when the whole world was experiencing something at the same time, which has really made people dig in and have to find their resilience. Because normally what happens is one person will be going through a bad time, but yet somebody else in their community or in their connections is not. And so you can go to that person, have a conversation, have something. But when everybody is going through the same thing and is as stressed as you are and as overwhelmed as you are, where do you turn? And this is when you need to turn to yourself. So while there are some individuals that find resilience easier than others, it is not a personality trait. It is something that you can work on, but you can use your personality in a way to build your resilience. Does that make sense? Yeah? Good. So resilience involves behaviors, thoughts, and actions that anyone can learn and adapt. So it is something you can learn. It's not something that you are born with. It's not a talent that you're born with or anything. It's something that you can learn. And when you can learn something, you can do it. You can add it and put it into your life as a routine or whatever it is. So it's not something that other people have. They have it because they've learned it, and you can learn it too. So the ability to learn resilience is one reason why resilience is ordinary and not extraordinary. So remember, you can learn resilience. And as I've mentioned, we had the pandemic in 2020. We had to pivot. People were going on furlough, changing things. I mean, Christy mentioned that she had to change how she was doing business. Caroline, I think you were a physiotherapist, is that right? So there might have had to be changes there. You couldn't see your clients anymore. And this is stuff that really can have an impact on, 2020 had a massive impact on everybody. I don't think anybody was not impacted by that. But it's like building a muscle. Resilience is like building a muscle, and increasing your resilience takes time and intentional effort. So remember, I said that you can learn it. You can put systems in place, and I will be giving you some tips on how you can do that. Plus, when you start to build your resilience, you start to grow your confidence. And that's the bit that I love. So as I mentioned, I'm going to talk to you about 4 core components that can really help of resilience, and that can help you to grow and develop your resilience. So it's connection, wellness, healthy thinking, and meaning. So I'll go through all that. So build connections, prioritize your relationships, build the right tribe around you. So have a think about the people in your life, those who you think, oh man, I just love spending time with those people. I feel so good when I'm around them. I feel inspired. I feel motivated. And then you've got other people in your life and you think, oh my God, I can't. How am I going to go then? Oh my God. Somebody phone me in 5 minutes time and send me it's emergency so I can leave the party. I can go. I don't have to be around these people. You avoid them, but maybe you can't kick them out your life because they might be family. They just drain you, but you don't necessarily want them out your life. That's my family. They drain me, so I live far away from them, but I don't necessarily want to kick them out my life. I just know I've got to monitor my time spent with them. So it's very much when I talk about building your connections, is be aware of who's in your life, who motivates you, who inspires you, who helps you to grow. And it's focusing on having the right people in your circle. Have those people who support you, encourage you, hold you up when you're feeling a bit down, or who can give you some guidance, whatever it is that you want. But make sure that you have those people in your life who are supportive, who lift you up, not drain you. So this is what I mean by building connections, is really have the right people in your life. It doesn't have to be every single person, but make sure that you've got some of this tribe that can help you. And these are the people who you will call on when you need help. These are the people who, when you're having that bad day or you're having those moments, and you can just phone them and say, you know what, I don't know what to do anymore. I quit. I've had enough. And they will then say to you, okay, talk to me. What is it about? So just build your connections and build them consciously. So the next one is wellness. And this is where we take care of your body. This is where Monica comes in. Practice mindfulness and avoid negative outlets. So when you take care of your body, what is that? Nutrition, sleep, hydration. Remember, we've all talking about water before. Hydration, regular exercise. Look after your body. Find ways that you can move your body, eat right for it, have enough sleep, make sure that your bed is comfortable, make sure your room's not too hot so that you're not struggling to fall asleep at night. Make sure you go to bed at the right time or get up at the right time and not thinking, oh, well, I can survive on 3 hours sleep or whatever it is. I appreciate if you've got young kids or anything, but really make sure that you are getting as much sleep as you can. Christy mentioned earlier that she's struggling a little bit because she's not been outside. Well, we've had gale force winds and God knows what's going on. So not having that fresh air is impacting the feeling of wellness within the body. Eating right. I'm sure Monica tells you a lot about the eating right, and I'm not going to go into the nutrition part because that's Monica's domain, and I don't know as much as she does, but it's about just looking after yourself. It's not about starving yourself and not having a piece of cake every now and again. Monica, don't listen, or the something nice, but it's just about making sure that what you are doing is balanced. And then practicing mindfulness, journaling, yoga, meditation, gratitude, practicing gratitude. And this is a way that you start to really get your head sorted, the brain bit going. And it's about just being in the moment. It's about just slowing down. So do it, like I said, do journaling, coloring in. These adult coloring in books are really a lot of fun, and they can be great fun to do. Yoga, go for a walk in nature if that's how you can practice mindfulness. Meditation, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's about slowing down and getting into the moment and not rush everywhere. And practice gratitude. So gratitude is very much really start to, and even create a gratitude journal. So every night before you go to bed, write 3 things you're grateful for. During the day, just stop and think, 3 things I'm grateful for. So it's just really acknowledging what you're grateful for. And it can be something as simple as my kid smiled at me today, or something as massive as, yes, I got a new client today. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, this past 4 days, I've been really grateful for my house because it's well sealed and we've had gale force winds battering everything about, and no wind has been coming into the house. So I know my windows are really well sealed, and it's been, I've still got roof tiles on my roof, touch wood. And I felt safe in my home, and I've been really grateful for that. So it can be something that just makes you feel grateful. And as I said, it can be anything. It can be that it's raining, it can be the sunshine, it can be the pretty flower that you've seen, it can be the lovely meal your partner's cooked, it can be whatever it is, but just really start to practice gratitude. Are you guys all still with me? And then avoid negative outlets. So this is where, when things go tough, the go-to could be that tub of ice cream, Netflix, or Prime, or alcohol, or drugs, or anything. So something that makes you escape the situation, that just masks it, especially when you're going through difficult times. I'm not saying don't have your glass of wine and don't have your binge watch Netflix, or don't have your tub of ice cream or anything. Won't advocate drugs, but it's about when things are really hard, the temptation is to sink into yourself and avoid, and then just get into this negative spiral. And this is what I mean by negative outlets. This is when you really need to be focusing on your practicing mindfulness and taking care of your body, because when times are difficult, this is when the negative will come in, and you've just got to almost fight it to go out. But if you've been practicing mindfulness and looking after your body, it won't be that difficult. So in the times of adversity and stress and trauma and everything else, it is avoid those negative outlets that are just, they feel good in the moment, but they're not good in the long run. Does that make sense? Are you with me? So this is where, again, is where you manage yourself, where you start to really put into practice what you've been practicing with in the times of trauma. And the third thing is finding focus, or having purpose. So healthy thinking, right, is healthy thinking is having the finding purpose. Help others, be proactive, move towards your goals, and look for opportunities within for self-discovery. Even though I've got notes, my brain still goes blank. So helping others, what does this mean? So you can volunteer, you can help a friend in need, you can be a support for somebody else, helping somebody else that has no monetary value for you. So it's not about, in your business, you helping somebody and then they pay you, you send them an invoice and they pay you. That's not classed as helping others. It is very much got to be something from the heart. So whether it's volunteering, whether it's just helping that friend in need, or whatever it is, but it's having that purpose of helping somebody else. Be proactive. So being proactive is accept who you are, accept your emotions during hard times, but it's also asking yourself, what can I do about the problem in my life? So how can you shift it? How can you change it? What can you do? So you can sit at home and think, oh, woe is me, the world hates me, everybody hates me, nobody loves me, life's over, oh, it's so tough. Or you can think, okay, I've got this really stressful situation. I'm feeling very overwhelmed and things are just going on. I can feel the stress happening. What can I do about it? What activities can I do? What actions can I take? So for me, the example that I used earlier was that when I realized that I could not stay in my job anymore, I was going to either hurt somebody, hurt myself, have an accident, or hit a coworker, which is a little bit frowned upon in this country, hitting a coworker. In South Africa, it's acceptable, but not in this country. Or get myself into some serious trouble. And I was getting to the point where I did not know what to do. This is where you start to think, okay, look for another job. Do I need to fix my CV, or do I start my own business, or what do I do? So it's about thinking, okay, I'm in this situation now. What can I do to help me to get out of this situation? You with me? So it's about being proactive, and it's not about taking huge steps. It might just be one little thing that you can do, and then the next little thing, and then the next little thing. So it's very much, it's about taking control over yourself and helping yourself to get where you need to go. So move towards your goals. When we feel stressed, when we feel like things are not happening, when we feel overwhelmed, when trauma hits, when relationships break down, whatever it is that is causing you in this moment to just feel like everything is going out of control, focus on your goals. And I'm not talking about that big goal that you must really have. I'm talking about maybe a goal that you have for the week, or just something that you can focus on right here, right now, one step. What can you do today that will get you closer to your goals? What can you do tomorrow that can get you closer to your goals? Now, I don't know if you've heard of, what's his name? Admiral. I've just read his book. So there's this admiral in America. He's a Navy SEAL, and he gave a talk at one of the universities there, and it actually went viral on one of these platform things. And he's written a book, and he says, if you make your bed every day, you've accomplished something. So even if it's making your bed that day, you've accomplished something. So it's about, you then know that at night when you go to bed, your bed has been made. And there's nothing better than getting into a nice made up bed instead of getting into bed that hasn't been made up. And this is, so when you feeling like really you're having to dig deep and you cannot focus on anything else, make your bed. And I'm not saying you don't make your bed anyway, but it's just make your bed in conscious effort that you are achieving something. You are making your bed. And this is just moving towards your goals, moving towards, it gives you a focus. It gives you something to work towards. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any questions yet? No? Yes? No? You got a question, Carolina? You good? Okay. So look for opportunities for self-discovery. Now, one of the things is when you've had to use resilience, when you've had this process of really digging deep, there's a moment of self-discovery. And it's looking for that. What have you learned about yourself? What have you learned through the struggle? What has helped you? What self-discovery have you had? And I bet you every single one of you in this call and anyone watching the recording can look back at 2020 and realize something new about themselves. And this is what I mean by look for opportunities for self-discovery. Don't ignore what you're discovering. Look for them. What have I learned? What have I experienced? What do I want to keep? What have I found about myself? and own it and acknowledge it. And not just think, well, I survived it. Okay, next. It's just look at yourself and see what you've learned. Own it and take that with you. And then it's embrace healthy thoughts. And I did that the wrong way around. So the find purpose is all around the meaning, and embrace healthy thoughts is around the healthy thinking. So keep things in perspective. You're not helpless. Accept change. Maintain a hopeful outlook and learn from your past. So keep things in perspective. How can you keep things in perspective? How can you look at what it is? Are you making a mountain out of a molehill? Are you really are you becoming like a drama queen and just, oh my God, this is it, this is the end, and I don't know what I'm going to do, and this is all over? Or is it in perspective? So really start to sit down and think, okay, this is the situation. How can I look at it in a way that you can start to make sense out of it? You can start to it's almost taking the emotion out of it and thinking about it. Now, I'm very linear and I'm very analytical, so thinking about things is easy for me, and I appreciate that some people who are more emotional, this might be more of a challenge. But it's about just keeping everything in perspective. Having gone through lockdown and 2020, it's about really how bad could it have been. So for what we did is when this all happened is I lost the business that I was building up. So this has now become a new thing. My husband lost his business, and it was, okay, so what do we do? How can I get the panic out, put this into perspective? Right, my local Tesco's was looking for night staff to stack shelves. Okay, pay the bills for the next 13 weeks. Right, I can do that. I just looked pretty much small, keep my goals, just looked small. So I got myself a job at Tesco stacking shelves. Don't recommend it to anybody. Don't recommend Tesco's, Sainsbury's, anything to anybody. But it was just about, okay, this is what I can do. This is what needs to be done. And I try to take the emotion out of it. Yes, I didn't always succeed, and I had moments where I just wanted to put the duvet over my head and just hope that the world would stop. And then it was, okay, I managed to get my husband into Tesco's for a little bit, but we still had a couple of dogs. So it was just very much just working out. So it's keeping things in perspective. I'm not saying that it's not difficult. It's not about making it easy. It's just about helping you to cope, helping you to take control of the situation, helping you to not fall apart. So it's about really getting into resilience and getting through that moment. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you're not helpless. And this is something that is really important to acknowledge, is that you may not be able to change a highly stressful event, but you can change how you interpret it and how you respond to it. So if you look back, and I talk about this a lot, 2020, because this is something that we can all relate to, is you found those who like, okay, hell, world's gone to hell in a handbasket, what do we do? And you had those who were like, that's it, life's over, I'm just going to shut the doors, and are not coping very well. So choose how you want to react to it. It doesn't mean that there's no hardship to it. It doesn't mean that you're not struggling. It just means that you are making the choice to be proactive, to really help yourself to get out of the situation, to see what you can do, to focus on your goals. You are not a helpless. You are a strong woman, a strong person just take that moment to think, okay, what do I need to do? Does that make sense? Accept change. Guess what, people? Change happens all the time. You just have to accept it. We might not like it, but we need to accept that change will happen. And this is when you accept it, then it's like, okay, here we go again. Right, what can I do? And maintain a hopeful outlook. So look at the positive. What's good? What's happening? What's working? So for me, in 2020, we had a beautiful spring and we had an amazing summer. So I just would enjoy the beautiful weather. So it's looking at where there's hope, at what's positive, at what. So not allowing, remember that the negativity to come in, but it's actually starting to look for the positive. Finding those little bits of sunshine in the darkness. It's almost like looking for that star spark in the night sky. It's there, you've got to find it. And learn from your past. You've all had experiences that you've had to dig deep and you've had to really build on your resilience or just take something from in you to cope, to survive. We've all had that. And anybody who says they've never had anything like that happen in their lives is lying, because it's part of being a human. It's part of life. It's just the degree and what is it that's different for all of us. But we've all experienced stress, trauma, hardships, shock, whatever it is. What did you do that got you through it? What worked? So it's learn from your past, learn from your experiences. Yeah? You with me? So what are the benefits of building resilience? Because there's got to be benefits, right? There just has to be. Otherwise, what's the point? So some of the benefits: feel more in control, taking control of your life, your decisions, and also the way that you're thinking, how you're going to react to it, taking control. And you'll feel more in control. Say yes to more opportunities. This way, you get to experience life more. You get to have those wonderful experiences that you might not have had. Have a more positive outlook. As I mentioned earlier, it's looking at how you can find that little star spark in the night sky. So when adversity strikes, it's easy to go into your little negative hole and just allow the negativity to just really impact you and go into the why me mode. But instead, you need to look at what's positive. So you're shifting out of that. So I'll tell you something that I've not told anybody. So a little secret is the first week of when we went into lockdown, I was already, I think it was just before lockdown, was just after, I can't exactly remember, is I had the job at Tesco's, and within that first week, I did go into, oh my God, what's going to happen? I'd done the practical stuff, but now I allowed myself to just, I did sink in, and I started to watch a program called Criminal Minds. I love the program. It's all murder and mayhem. At that time, it might not have been the best program to pick. I should have picked things like Big Bang Theory or, some comedy to get me out of it. So what it actually did is it made me sink even deeper into it, because I wasn't in the right frame. I was already stressed. I was already negative. And then you're going into this really thriller type, dark program about murder, sex abuse, rape, just gore and body parts everywhere else. So you can see this is not the best thing to be watching when you like that. It doesn't mean don't ever watch it if it's something you enjoy, but that wasn't the right time. So it made me sink even deeper until I realized that actually what I was doing is more harm. So I shifted and I started to watch more comedies to help me get out of it. And then once things had calmed down, I finished watching Criminal Minds. So it's just really having a more positive outlook in that moment when you're feeling things, in that adversity, that stress has hit, that trauma has hit, whatever it is has hit you, is find the positivity, find a way to help you out of it. Must it change? So again, I mentioned change. So it's being able to accept that change happens. It does happen. There's nothing we can do about it, but we can choose how we react to it. Making sense? Build better wellness. So protect yourself from mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, stress, all these things that have an impact on your mental wellness. So when you do the things that I mentioned earlier, the wellness, about the practical mindfulness, the journaling, the gratitude diaries, all that helps you to build a better mental wellness. So this is part of the benefits of building a resilience, is you will then have a better mental wellness. You'll have better coping skills. You'll cope with things better and easier. You'll build strength and able to deal with adversity. Self-discovery. Self-discovery is a fantastic thing, especially as business owners, as people, as humans. When you're on a path of self-discovery, there's so much you can learn about yourself and about the world around you and about your part in it. And this is amazing. It's a lovely journey, and it's really worth exploring. And belief that nothing is impossible and that you will get through it. And these are just some of the benefits of building resilience. It just gives you that strength, that knowing that you can cope, knowing that you'll get through it, knowing that you'll survive, and not just thrive, but actually thrive through it. And this is what is so important. So some top tips. And I know a lot of this is being repeated, but repetition is good. And it just shows you that it is very much impacts and connects with each other. And this is why a lot does get repeated. So top tips: make connections. Remember earlier, I said to you, make sure that you having the right relationships, the right people, the right support network, whether it's through your networking group, whether it's through other business owners, whether it's through friends and connections that you have. It doesn't matter. They're all unique to you, but it's finding those right people, making those right connections, building that tribe that's for you alone. Be proactive. Don't ignore the problems. What can you do to sort it? What can you do to make the right changes? What can you do to make the shifts that are needed, whether it's in your business, whether it's personal, whether it's anything? Be proactive. Because when you're proactive, you feel more in control. You feel more focused. Does that make sense? Learn from experience. You guys have all been there. What did you learn? What got you through it? What helped you? Learn from experience. Learn from others' experiences. What got your friend Josie down the road through her marriage breaking up? What helped her? What made her come out stronger on the other end? What tips can you that will help you? So it's not necessarily just your experiences. It can also be people in your network's experiences can help you. Accept that change is part of living. And again, move towards your goals. Really focus on your goals. Focus on where you want to be going. What is it that you want? What can you be doing? And this again is the bigger goals as well, the bigger picture. So this is not just surviving through the situation, adversity, and you've got the little goals, just making your bed, just getting up and making your bed. But this is now focusing. So part of the tips of growing resilience is focusing on your goals. What are your goals? Are they, whether they're intentions, plans, visions, whatever they are, but what have you got? What is it you want to be achieving? And focusing on them and seeing how you can start to work towards what it is that you want. Keep things in perspective. I've said this before, is starting to really see what it is and just keeping things in perspective. And this is one that I like. Give yourself permission to slip. So this is a simple and effective way to build resilience by being kind to yourself. And it comes from the research of Dr. Brené Brown. I don't know if any of you have heard of her or read any of her books or her talks. Monica, did you just shake your head? Seriously, girl? Go and watch Brené Brown. So Brené Brown is a scientist. She's a professor at Houston University. She's given some TED Talks. She's written a lot of books, and hers is very much around shame and guilt and vulnerability and all that. She's worth looking at and reading and just reading her stuff. It's really good, or watching her TED Talks. So according to Brené Brown, often when we are busy and stressed, we prioritize everything above ourselves. And the concept of permission slip is to give you a nudge to put yourself first. So take a piece of paper and write down, I give myself permission to, and here's some examples: spend 20 minutes reading a book, watch a show on Netflix, go for a run, arrange a lunch with a friend. And this is your permission to slip up. This is your permission to just have solid day time and just do something for yourself. Just do something that's not in your diary, that's not being planned, that's not towards anything. This is just you taking a moment for yourself. So what you can do is just write a list, like I give myself permission to, and write a list, and every now and again just do something on that list. Just give yourself permission to just have a bit of fun, have a no professional time, just be you for a moment and enjoy it. And if you're going to read a book, make it a Brené Brown book. They're really good and they're worth reading. So another top tip is take care of yourself. So tend to your needs and feelings and participate in activities and hobbies that you enjoy. So again, this is doing something for you. Do something that you find fun. Do something, not because you should do it, but something that you'd want to do. So like I said, hobbies, activities, whatever it is. If you enjoy going hiking on Sundays with a group of people, then do it. If you enjoy sewing and it's a lovely hobby and you've just put it aside because you're busy, maybe start sewing again. Do you enjoy cooking? Do something. So doing something for you. So this isn't like a slip up like previous one, but this is actively doing something for yourself that you do regularly. And it's just a way to do. So maybe it's once a week you have a nap in the afternoon, or again, it is also eating healthy, get plenty of sleep. So the usual stuff, but it is also about just doing something for you. Have maybe one evening a week that is dedicated to you and what you want to be doing, your hobby or something. So one of the things that I have aside is once a month, I'm part of a brain lab. I call it the brain lab. It's a membership for about neuroscience. And for me, that is a hobby because it's me learning, but it's learning something quite different and getting an understanding. And that to me, it's my brain lab time. And I also have Another hobby that I do on a Wednesday night that I go to. So 6 o'clock is my crypto night, and Thursday night is my brain lab time. And that is mine. Husband, deal with your own food. I'm not here. I'm sitting upstairs. I'm doing these. And these are two things that are not necessarily for my business. They're not necessarily for anything else, but for me to learn, for me, because I enjoy doing it. So it is about, and these are my times. They diarize in the diary, and I don't book anything else. Those are my times. Those are my joys, my hobbies, my whatever it is. And my husband knows, leave me alone, because you ain't going to get no food. Go make yourself a sandwich. So the thing is what can you do that takes care of yourself? And this helps. Now, for one of my favorite ones, and I'm sure Monica and especially Christy has heard me talk about this: celebrate. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate your achievements, big or small. In this case, size really does not matter. Is about celebrating what you've achieved that day, that week. What successes have you had? What can you acknowledge to yourself that you have done? So when you celebrate, you're talking to yourself, but you are also telling your brain and reminding yourself that you can do it, that you are worth it. And it's very much, it builds neural pathways in your brain, which leads to you having a better sense of well-being and a better sense of self-worth. And when you're constantly celebrating, and again, it can be something as small as, I did that post on LinkedIn. Yes, and do like a little happy dance, because that's something that you've maybe been putting off. So something small like that. It could be that you've got a new client. It could be that you gave yourself time to come on to watch and listen to me talk for an hour and a half. It is about celebrating anything, because what you do is you start to tell your brain you're worth it. You're telling your brain that what you're doing is going in the right direction. And when you have those moments, when adversity hits or anything, all those celebrations are there helping you with your resilience. They help you with your strength. They help you with those moments when you're trying to look for something to be positive about, because you've ingrained them and you've built that resilient muscle through celebration. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I often talk about introverts and extroverts, because I'm an introvert and I work with introverts, business owners. But I also know that there are extroverts out there. And the way that introverts and extroverts work is through energy. So there's not anything different about them. It's not one can do something that the others can't do. It's the way that we do things. So as an introvert, I use my energy differently than the way an extrovert would use it. So an extrovert is very much loves being around people, loves being having that social life, and just people inspire them and give them energy. Whereas an introvert, we get our energy from being on our own, for just sitting quietly, just being quietly in a place. And we thrive maybe with one-to-one, or even one with two different people having conversations. So it is very much the way that we work with our energy. So when you're building resilience, whether you're an extrovert, ambivert, introvert, and whatever level you are on the scale, is understand how you use your energy and what you need to put in place to help you to recharge your batteries in a way. So it's when you know yourself and when you know which one you are, you then know what to put in place for when you need that support. Is it that you need to go out with a group of friends and just be around them and have that loud noise and everything else? Or do you need to just take some time and just sit quietly with some quiet music or a book or whatever, and have that, as another introvert said to me, that white noise, that space. And this will help you to build your resilience, because you're not feeling drained, you're not feeling exhausted. An extrovert, if they have too much time on their own, they get quite stressed and they feel drained, and vice versa. And so when you understand yourself, you have better understanding on how you can use your energy, especially in a time of stress, especially when adversity hits. What can you do to just help yourself, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes? What can you do? So it's understanding yourself. And here I just wanted to talk a little bit about vulnerability, because as I mentioned, Brené Brown, I really love her, and I've learned a lot from her talks and her books. I've read all her books except for one. So when you're in the middle of adversity, you feel vulnerable, and your automatic habit is to just go into yourself, to go in and hide, because you feel vulnerable. I mean, if you think, when we feel vulnerable, it's almost has this desire to just curl up like this. And it's almost like you're protecting your organs, you're protecting everything, and you don't want to show it. Now, if anybody has a cat or dogs and knows about pets, is when a cat or a dog lies on their back, they're being vulnerable. They're showing they can be attacked easily. But when they curl up, they're strength, because their soft bits and are not on show. And this is why I find vulnerability a really fascinating topic. And I've also realized that through vulnerability, you build confidence. But it's also through vulnerability you're able to build resilience. Because if you're going to a friend or to one of your tribe and you're saying, you know what, I'm having a really hard time, I don't know what to do anymore, you're being vulnerable. But you're using this person to help you with your resilience, to help you get through it. So can you see how the two work together? Yeah? Am I making sense? So the thing is normally vulnerability we want to hide, but vulnerability is actually a strength. Asking for help, letting people know that we are stressed, letting people know we are feeling overwhelmed, letting people know that we are in a process of adversity and we are unsure of what's happening. You're putting yourself in a place of vulnerability, but actually you're using a strength by communicating, this is what's happening. And then it is about, and then you will get through it. You will get through it. And if these are the right people, they will help you through it. But through this, you're building your resilience and you're building your confidence, even while you're in a vulnerable state. Have I totally confused me now? Go read Brené Brown. That's all I can say. So confidence and resilience. So if you have confidence, you believe that you are strong, but if that's not enough to succeed, that could really shake you up. So even though you have resilience and you think you can do it, and you have confidence and you think you can do it, but you need both. You need both to really help you through it. So you're often told you're stronger than you think, or you're stronger than you think. But if you have confidence, you will believe that you are strong. You will have that self-belief in yourself to really get you through this time of stress, this time of overwhelm, adversity, whatever it is. And through having the resilience, you will feel strong enough to keep trying, to keep persevering despite setbacks. So the confidence will help you through, the resilience will help you through, but it's having the two together that can really help you thrive through it instead of just surviving through it. Does that make sense? Because confidence is about believing in your abilities and in your own beliefs and having that self-belief in yourself. So it's really having the confidence that you and the belief that you will learn, adapt, grow, thrive through this time of adversity, and having the resilience to grow, adapt, learn through this time, and you will come out thriving. Who knew that adversity would make you thrive? So are there any questions? And now, Monica, I've seen you've been putting a lot of stuff up there in the chat. So any comments, anything you want me to cover, anything you want me to go over again? Does it make sense to you?
I think this was really good. I think you covered so much, and there's just so much to think about as well. So, yeah, no, I am blown away. I love it.
There's so much more that I could go through, and I'm actually thinking of putting another talk together. Look what you started, Monica. So one thing that I do want to share with you is for you, Carolina, but also for anybody who's watching the recording, because I know Christy and Monica know about it, is I'd like to share with you my free gift. So I have a free gift of a group called Confidence Conversation Corner. It is a membership group where you can come in, you ask questions, you get advice, you bounce an idea, you get feedback, you listen to what other people are experiencing, you get a little bit of accountability, whatever it is that you need. And it's twice a month we meet, and it's a great little community. It's about building networks, it's about building relationships, about building connection. But my free gift to you is your first 30 days free to come and see what it's about, see what you like about it, if you would enjoy it, if it's a place that you can see being part of, because it's not only about me answering the questions, but it's about you adding your knowledge and expertise to others in the group. So I just wanted to share that with you. And of course, you can connect with me on LinkedIn if you have any further questions, or any questions about the workbook. If you decide, if you're working through it and you just want some clarity or anything.